I made $680 in just 1 hour. A year ago, I had to work an entire month to make that amount of money. So, what's crazy to me is the fact that, when I reflect back on my life, when I was working my normal 9 to 5, just over a year ago, I had to spend so much hours of my time, 10, 11, 12 hours a day working at a job that I hated. I wasn't fulfilled in. I was barely making any money, right? All that just to have a salary, just to be safe and secure. Now, ever since I started that job, I wanted to quit from day one because I always knew that I was destined for more and I was meant for bigger things. I knew that my purpose in life is bigger than just working for someone else and working a normal 9 to 5, which means that, every single hour I spent and that I wasn't working my job, I was working on a way to escape my job and actually, get out of that situation. Now, before I saw the breakthrough I've failed so many times at so many different business models. I've lost so much of money, but I never stopped trying. I always believed in myself and always pushed the needle further. It was only when I actually got into high ticket sales is when my life truly changed. And I was able to see that breakthrough that I knew was on the verge of happening for so long. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm a high ticket closer, which means that I take calls for influencers online, and I basically speak to their audience about programs and services they offer. And if they join the program, I get paid commission, right? So, for example, yesterday I had a call with a guy. We spoke for about an hour, and he signed up for the program. He paid $6,800 in full, and because I closed him, I made $680, which is what I used to make in a whole month working, right? Now, one thing I want to emphasize though about my journey, it wasn't luck that this happened. First of all, I always knew it was going to happen, which means whenever I was faced with an opportunity to actually invest in myself, take risks, I never doubted myself. I never hesitated. I always jumped in, right? Like I'll be honest with like whoever's watching this. Like it took me getting to the point where I was like, over $10,000 in debt to get out of my situation. Now, to some people watching this, depending where you are in the world, it may seem like a lot, it may seem like a little, but for me, as a 20-year-old from South Africa, right? That's a lot of money for the average person to, use to risk them seeing success, you know. But why I'm saying this is to show you that the exact reason why I succeeded is the same reason people stay stuck, because they don't fundamentally believe that they can be successful or they will be successful, which means that they're going to act in alignment with that belief so that when they're faced with an opportunity to change their life, they're not going to take action. And even if they do, they won't follow through. Right? The first obstacle they face, the first challenge, the first setback they face, they give up. You know, that's the only thing that separates the winners from the losers. It's not your situation. It's not how you started in life. It's not how much money you have right now. It's not how smart you are. The only difference is your ability to believe in yourself and take raw action until you succeed. That doesn't mean take action until you hit a challenge and give up. It means taking action until you hit a challenge and you push through that because you know that the average person will give up in that moment. And there's so many times in my journey when I reflect back and realize that, even thinking about the risks I've taken to get to where I am today, thinking about it now, it even gives me chills because I know that like 80, 90% of the people out there would never even have the bravery and the confidence and the balls to do what I did to get to where I am. So that's why the saying that I heard, I forgot who I heard it from. I think it was Dan Pena, but he basically said, success is like being pregnant. Everybody congratulates you, but no one knows how many times you got fucked for that to happen. And that's something, I really relate to because, I failed so many times before I actually saw the breakthrough I want to see in my life. And it's not that I'm at the top of the mountain yet. I have so much more potential that I have yet to unlock. And I know that 2026 is going to be, the biggest year of my life. So that's why I'm making this video. For anyone watching this, you may be in your journey where you haven't yet seen that breakthrough. Maybe you're still stuck in your 9 to 5. Maybe you're trying to find a way to escape. Maybe you're not yet truly fulfilled in your life. You're not doing something that excites you, that, allows you to be fulfilled in your life. And that's okay. Right? It's not supposed to happen overnight. But the point I want to make to you is that one, nobody is coming to save you. right? 2026 can be your year if you truly believe in yourself and you truly take action. And trust me when I say this, your life can change so quickly if you really implement that. And not just say you want it, but truly believe you'll do it and truly act and take raw action to make that happen. Like, it's truly life changing. When I look at the progress I've made in my life, by no means am I where I want to be. Like, obviously, my goal at the moment is to be able to make $20,000 per month, which I know I'm going to hit that goal very, very soon, right? But what I've already achieved is so much that I'm grateful for. Like, I was able to, leave my 9 to 5, actually do something that gives me freedom, time freedom, location freedom. Like, I can literally choose when I want to work. I can work from wherever I want in the world. And I have the opportunity to actually make, 5, 6, 10, 15, $20,000 plus per month by literally just talking to people over Zoom calls, right? That's absolutely insane, and I'm very proud of myself for, not giving up, because there was many moments in my journey where, I did face some doubts. I did face some hesitation, and the average person would have given up, right? But because I didn't give up is why I was able to see the breakthrough. So that's the only secret it comes down to, you know. So for anyone watching this video, I want you to really take the time to ask yourself and reflect back on your life and ask yourself, like, are you truly happy with where you are? Are you actually trying to change your situation? You know, like, are you truly, proud of the life you're building right now? Or are you just playing it safe? Are you just, getting a hit from your salary every month? Living in your comfort zone. And that's okay if you want to live like that for the rest of your life. But if you have big goals and you want to achieve greatness in life, you need to make a change. And not just say you're going to make a change and then try for a few hours and then, continue clubbing, continue partying. No, make a fucking commitment to change and then change. It's really that simple. I'll give you an example, like, of how simple this is. For most of my life, I've never worked out. I've never been in shape. I was pretty much overweight for most of my life. I used to be fat until it got to the point where I just literally said, enough is enough. Like, it got really bad. Like, I was the heaviest I'd ever been. I was someone that, my clothes were barely fitting me anymore. My belt couldn't even actually buckle up all the way. You know, I was even embarrassed to take my shirt off at the beach. And I used to lie to myself and say that, gymming is not important. Like, it's okay if I'm, not in the shape I want to be. But deep down, I was lying to myself. I wasn't being truthful for, what I truly wanted in my life. Until I said, fuck that. Enough is enough. I'm not going to continue to have a body I don't like. I know that I can do better. So at the end of 2022, well, pretty much 2023, that's when my fitness journey started. And in that moment, I just made a decision to say that, fuck that. I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. And by the end of this year, I'm going to get a fucking six pack. Now, mind you, before telling myself I'm going to do that, I had no experience working out. I didn't even know how to work out. I didn't know how to eat healthy. I didn't know how to actually diet or do anything I know how to do now. But I made a decision that I'm going to achieve that outcome, even though I didn't know how to do it. And then I committed to actually doing that. And because I made that commitment, I now acted in alignment with that. I learned how to work out. I learned how to actually eat in a calorie deficit. I learned how to actually exercise. And within a year later, I got a fucking six pack. That's how easy it is to succeed, guys. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. You can do anything you put your mind to. Jack Hopkins said this. He says, like, the path illuminates as you walk, meaning that you don't need to have, the perfect shoes, the perfect, map with you when you start the path, because it's only going to light up once you actually start the path. So please, 2026, don't let this turn into another year where, you come around to 2027 and you have that stinging pain of regret, knowing that you could have done better. Right, so let this year be your year to actually make it the biggest year of your life, like I'm going to do for myself. Okay. And for anyone that really wants to actually make a big change in their life and wants to improve their life, I'm actually going to be doing something very exciting this month. Right. So stay tuned for my next video, because I'm going to be doing, a challenge that's better than 75 hard or monk mode. It's basically not just going to help you improve your fitness, but also your mindset and also making more money. So it's pretty much going to be a 100-day challenge that anyone can do, right? You don't have to be special, you don't need anything to do it. But I'm just going to be doing this for myself. And I'll release more details about this in the next video. But basically, similar to 75 hard, if you fail anything on the day, like let's say you forget to work out or you can't drink alcohol, you have to restart the challenge from day one. So since I'm deciding to do this anyways, I decided why not actually invite people that see this video and want to improve their life to actually join me on that challenge, so that we can have a community of people actually holding each other accountable to actually see success in their life. So if that's someone that if you someone like that actually wants to improve their life and wants to make 2026 your best year, I highly encourage you to stay tuned and keep an eye out for my next video, because I'm going to be you know giving more detail about that challenge. And if it's something you want to do, I can't wait to see you actually do it with me, because I know it's going to be extremely life changing. Like mark my words when I say this. Like these next 3 months are going to be the biggest transformation I've seen in my personal life, whether that's with finance, with mindset, and with fitness. So I'm saying this to invite you to join me on that journey, because I would love to be, surrounded with people that actually want to succeed and level up in their own lives. Because that's why I do what I do, to help people become, improve their life. So if that's you, stay tuned. You're in good hands. You're in the right place to, make 2026 your best year, just like I'm going to do. So as always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate anyone that shows my channel some love. And if you did enjoy this video, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and most importantly, make sure you turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next video, because I'm going to be dropping all the details about the challenge and how to actually do the challenge and how to actually join the community and be a part of the movement. Okay, so if you learned anything and took anything away from this video, one thing I want you to remember is that the only way you can fail is if you quit. Okay? Commit to doing it and don't give up until you actually see the breakthrough you want to see. It's as simple as that. Okay? So as always, enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.